Okay, my name is Bobby Vaught. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you so choose. In the description below, I'll put a link to lesson 1, everything you need to know to understand investing. If you're interested, it's up to 18 lessons now, more coming at some point when I get around to it. Each lesson has a link in the description to the next one. So lesson 1 has a link to lesson 2, which has a link to lesson 3, and so on and so forth. Make them all real easy to find. Today's presentation is not about that, however. It's two different parts of this channel. There's the investing side, which I just mentioned, and there's also, I do a lot of political, social, economics commentary, that kind of thing, which in fact is today. So this is going to be pretty short today, this presentation at least. We're going to turn something around, take a listen to something here. It's just about 2 minutes long, and then we'll make some comments on it, okay? So, here to turn the camera around here. This guy's really sharp. I like this guy. His Facebook page is called The Moderate Case, and so he's gonna respond to her, and then I'm just gonna make some additional comments, okay? And here we go.
We are already surpassing Hitler, Nazi Germany. Do you not see this? If we have to debate the morality of does a person deserve to be shot in the face by a masked man who just jumped out of his car working for the government, what have we become?
Well, apparently Nazi Germany, what you said. Notice how every time something happens that these crazy leftists don't like, it's the same script. It's fascism, it's Gestapo, it's Hitler, Nazi Germany. It's almost like a reflex. Nazi Germany was a genocidal totalitarian dictatorship. There were no elections, there was no free press, they didn't have courts, there was no due process. The state murdered millions of people as literal official policy. ICE, whether you like them or not, is a law enforcement agency enforcing immigration law passed by Congress in a constitutional republic with courts, elections, lawsuits, body cams, inspectors general, and non-stop media scrutiny. If you think those two things are the same, you aren't serious and you don't understand history. But this is the finest display of Godwin's law, but it's literally on steroids. When your argument is weak, you reach for Nazis. And it's not accurate, but it shuts down conversation for you. It's the same thing that these pro-Palestinians do when they point to Gaza. They call it a Holocaust. While many of them will downplay the Holocaust, they have to use the Holocaust because deep down they understand how bad it was, so they have to compare their situation to the worst possible thing they can imagine. But I want to talk about the shooting itself. Was it tragic? Of course it was. Are people allowed to criticize tactics or the rules of engagement or agency conduct? Absolutely. But what's not happening with ICE is a policy of extermination. There are no death camps, there is no ethnic cleansing, there is no policy of mass killing. A single disputed law enforcement shooting, even a bad one, does not equal fascism. If that were the case, then literally every country on earth would to you have to be Nazi Germany.
We are already...
And it starts over. Okay, exactly. That guy is really sharp. I almost get kind of envious listening to him sometimes because I wish I had his talent, but it just adds something to that, okay? I mean, something that occurred to me. Now let's take this a step further. So here's this woman. We've heard this, I don't know how many times, thousands of times from people on the political left. You're a Nazi, he's a Nazi, she's a Nazi, Hitler, etc., etc., etc. So she thinks we have become Nazi Germany. Well, if that's what leftists like her thinks, then here's a solution. If that's what she really believes, that view of hers is saying there's a failure in the entire system, a systemic failure between the three branches of government on the federal level, or maybe you had the agencies. Some people, refer to that as the fourth branch of government. But I mean, so you have the executive, legislative, and judicial, three branches of the government on the federal level. So she's saying, so just think this through. If one administration can be Nazi Germany, as she put it, then any administration could turn us into Nazi Germany. The next Republican, the next Democrat administration, the next anybody. So she's saying there's a systemic failure in terms of the checks and balances. So it seems like the logical thing to do from her perspective would be, okay, Well, if that's what she really believes, well, stop paying taxes then. Seriously. Everybody just quit. No more taxes, none. Including the wealthy, especially the wealthy. Why would she want, just thinking this through, why would she want anyone paying taxes to Nazi Germany? She clearly thinks that's where we are. She thinks there's occurred a systemic failure. She clearly has no faith in this system of checks and balances. So everyone will just stop paying taxes then. Yeah, the political left and the really hardcore libertarians should just get together on this. Stop paying taxes. Tax revolt. I was listening to Kulinski, and he was talking about this same matter. And Kulinski on the left, he loves to throw the word fascist out there. I think this guy referred to Godwin's law. So I mean, Kulinski loves to throw the word fascist out there. He's good at that. And he made a 17-minute presentation about a couple of months ago, all about how, he's advocating fight violence with violence. He put it on his YouTube channel. It's called Secular Talk. That's the name of his channel. All about how we should fight violence with violence. We're at war. The time for peace is over. In fact, that's what he titled the video that he made. The time for peace is over. Kulinski even went so far as to platform a guy who said, "We are at war with the United States government." And Kulinski platformed that guy. Okay. If that's what you really believe, then advocate for a tax revolt. Well, stop paying it. Now, why don't they just advocate for a complete and total tax revolt? It's a legitimate point. If that's what she believes, if that's what Kulinski believes, that we've become Nazi Germany, then it's the obvious thing to do. Political left, start advocating no more taxes then. As that guy that Kulinski platformed, we're at war with, he said, we're at war with the U.S. government. The U.S. government, it kind of sounds insurrectionist to me, but hey. But in any event, okay, well, stop paying taxes then. That's what they believe, that we're paying taxes to Nazi Germany fascists, as Kyle likes to put it out there a lot. Well, don't pay them anymore then. You should be advocating for a complete and total tax revolt. I'm going to leave it right there. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you so choose. There's also that series that I did, Everything You Need to Understand Investing. Until next time, hope life is treating you well. You have a great day.